and people were basically thrown on the street with all of their belongings. Like, people can listen to oral histories of these accounts. Like, these are well documented. And on their way back from the carrying out those evictions, they were met with a police chief, Sid Hatfield, who is like the people's hero in this story, and some of his deputies, Ed Chambers and others, and I think some townspeople, from my understanding. And
the mayor of the town.
Yeah, Cabell Testerman. They basically had like a heated exchange with these agents, and no one really knows. Like, there's a lot of testimony you can go and read to try to figure out like what was said. Each of them had warrants for their arrest. So Sid Hatfield pulls out a warrant for the arrest of the Baldwin Felts detective agents. They pull out a warrant for the arrest of Sid Hatfield. At the end of it, there was basically both sides pulled out guns, and they had like a Wild Wild West shootout in downtown Matewan. And when it was said and done, 10 people were dead or dying in the streets. It included 7 Baldwin Felts detective agents, 2 minors, and the mayor himself. The mayor, I think, was actually taken from train. Like, they were taking him to Williamson, and he died on the train. But yeah, that's what put Matewan on the map. Matewan's also important for the Hatfield-McCoy feud. We're in feud country, and like the land of Matewan itself was land that Deb Lance Hatfield would have owned. And I think I came across some newspapers after the shootout that was like, oh, the Hatfield and McCoy feud has broke out again, you know, because it was like very close in time period. But yeah, that was what people started to call the Matewan Massacre. We call it the Battle of Matewan. It's kind of how I got intrigued with what the museum was doing as a student, because they framed it up differently. And I liked that. I was like, whoa, this is like the people's perspective. And Dave Corbin, who is like the dean of Mayan Wars history, he just passed away, but had done a lot of important research and work to help us understand these stories better. And he called the massacre like the Felts term. It's what the Baldwin Felts detectives would use, and that he really liked shootout or gun battle. You know, I think, that's and the museum sits across from the site of where this happened. So when people come and visit, and Shaun, you should talk about like the design setup, but when people come and visit, we're always like, go check out the bullet holes. Like, it's a thing that people want to check off the list when they come to town.
Yeah. More importantly, you can ride a swamp boat in Matewan.
And you should.
and you should. Yeah.
Down the river.
Get on the fan boat.
Crazy. I highly suggest it. But yeah, go ahead, Shaun.
Well, I just also to say that the building that we were in when we first got started, before we moved across the street, was the site of Chambers Hardware Store in 1920. The building itself was rebuilt, so we were in a structure that had been built in, I think, 1923. But Chambers Hardware was important because it was owned by the family of Deputy Ed Chambers, who was killed. And also, this is, as I understand it, Sid Hatfield was standing in the doorway of Chambers Hardware when he first started firing shots, which would have just been our back door